And in my head, I was like, honestly, Dallas should go for it because, like I said, going back to you won one last game, why not? Like you have Luka, you have Kyrie.
Your new boys just got here. These guys been here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, if these guys are always in the playoffs, if these guys are always, making it far in the playoffs, always showing, going off in the playoffs, but they don't get to the ring, that doesn't mean they're ass.
But it's keep the same energy, I guess. I don't know. But welcome back to another episode of the Ridgeway Pod. I'm your host Udoy, and we're going to be talking about the conference finals. And this is our update video. We are 2 games in for each of the series. The Celtics home games are finished. The Minnesota Timberwolves home games are now finished. And we have a little bit of a sample size of what's going on in the series. And we're just here to update you. And I'm here with my co-host Ush. And yeah, let's get into it. Dallas and Minnesota just ended. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You want to go first or you want me to go?
I could go. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this game was both games we know that Dallas is up 2-0 now. They took to me it feels like a stranglehold on this series. Minnesota, they were home. They were the home team. They're coming in pretty hot with beating the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, versus a very locked in Dallas Mavericks team. But honestly, a lot of people, it's either a toss up between the two. But a lot of people are kind of behind the Minnesota Timberwolves, and rightfully so. Very good, very solid team, very organized team. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and so the first 2 games, I just think that the first game, if we want to get into it, the main notes were we wanted to see what Minnesota's defense can do to bother Kyrie and Luka. And Kyrie heard what Anthony Edwards said after end of Game 7 against Denver, and he took that personally, jokingly or just competitively, or he took it and he gave it back, and he just cooked. And so he went off for like pretty much the majority of the game. We got some, vintage Kyrie moments. We just needed like untucked Kyrie, just for the culture. And Luka kind of finished it. Like that's what happened. And no matter what they did, it's like those 2 guys had the formula to take whatever coverage is sent, whether it was a blitz, whether it's a trap, or like at the end, I feel like Luka had Jaden McDaniels was guarding him one-on-one. It's like, you're on an island, you'll guard him. Everyone else stay home. And either way, it didn't really work. Luka, I think, closed that game really, really well with the help of his team, of course. Game 2, and it's freshly in our minds just now. Luka just hit the craziest game winner against Gobert. I personally feel like if I had like quick spark notes, it was the opposite of the last game, where essentially it was like this game, Kyrie didn't have it going, but Luka was like, keeping control of the game, of the flow of the game. Minnesota jumped out to, I think, like a 15-point lead or something like that.
They're up 19 at one point.
Okay, yeah. So at that point, and then it kind of looked like this is the game where like Minnesota takes. You go back to Dallas 1-1, and it's like Dallas. It felt like, does Dallas want to do this? Like you have 2 options as you got a game. So
yeah,
we're good.
Back home court.
Let's go back and see to protect our home court. But also, this is the new NBA. 15, 19, 20-point leads don't matter. So you can push. I mean, we're gonna talk about the Eastern Conference after this, and you saw what happened in Game 2 for that. We'll get into that. Yeah. But this game, it's like, and they did it like that third quarter. Luka, like I said, last time was Kyrie in the beginning. Luka was the one who just hard carried back in. Yeah. And I think Kyrie was also in foul trouble. He ended the game with 5 fouls. He had 4 at that point in the third, I think, or something. So he just sliced them up, man. Like this prodigal son, generational talent, just full on display. And he was just going crazy. And then they took the lead at one point. He goes to the bench, I think, end of the third, and then Kyrie comes in, and that's when Kyrie started hitting those bombs from
crazy
3
shots.
So again, that's the opposite. This time Kyrie is gonna close. It felt like, right, and at least he kept them afloat. He kept it became a back and forth swing game. And on the other end, to the Wolves, shout out Naz Reid. I think he was their best player.
He didn't miss.
he was on a heater, man.
He missed the last shot that he took was his
Yeah,
miss.
that's crazy. That's unfortunate, but he kept them in, and that's my thing right there. Okay, well, before I get to the Wolves, he did his thing, but that last one, oh my gosh! It's funny because I think I sent a text saying like, "Yo, look, 2 to tie, 3 to win, overtime. Do you want it?" And in my head, I was like, honestly, Dallas should go for it because, like I said, going back to you won last game, why not? Like you have Luka, you have Kyrie, you could run a play, but then you have to, use more legs in overtime, which I'm sure they can, because both teams are tired. But like it's like, why not? Just go for it, see if you get it. And it was the perfect matchup. Like the switch happens. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, against Luka Doncic. It was very synonymous to the game winner in the bubble, but instead of going left, I thought he was going to go left and hit that step back three. He went right, but he did the tween left and then tween back, and then just sidestep to there. Boom! You can't guard me. Insane finish, and like
that was honestly insane. Like I was watching with my friend Jack, and we were watching the game. We're like, they call the timeout. I mean, whatever. They Ant turns it over, and the first thing he says, he goes, "Luka's gonna hit this game winner, isn't he?"
Yeah, I just said like, you could be smart, play chess, go for two, and play overtime, but it's like, hey man, you got the guys, you got the personnel, the personnel. It was so cold. On the Timberwolves front, honestly, I mean, they had to lead this game. I think this was theirs to lose, and they lost. And for me personally, I swear Cat was gone in the third, and he never came back in the fourth. He played like 26
he got injured or something, but
okay, that's my thing. I wasn't sure. And Anthony Edwards,
2 fouls, like
right.
Rudy
had like 4 or 5 fouls. He was the most on that team with the most fouls. Everyone else had like 2 fouls each, including Ant and Conley and everything. Anthony Edwards, real quick, man. Like I just feel like he was just he just didn't show up like we all expected him to. Like he was if Carl Anthony Towns isn't gonna do it, and I think Carl Anthony Towns had it early. That's why they built that lead. Like he was just going in the post and just dominating, and like he was just doing his thing. And Edwards, like I think all 4 stars, like 2 on the Kyrie, Luka, and Ant and Cat, were like horrible efficiency, like in the first half. Like everyone was, I saw 1 4 for 16, I think it was, and 2 for 7 from Kyrie. It was pretty bad, but the 2 of them woke up, and the Minnesota's 2 guys didn't do anything. And I don't know if there's a
look at it, like both Luka and Kyrie both finished with 50% shooting.
Right, so they broke
up. Both Ant and Cat 6 for 20, 6 for 16.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Real like it's just Antman, like, okay, forget the field goal percentage at the end of the game. Are you gonna take the last shot? Are you not gonna turn over the ball? Are you like he was just so okay? So both games, especially first game, I think he only had like 3 shots in the paint or something, and that's part of his game. You drive and you freaking dunk on someone, lay it in because you're so athletic, or you pull up for a midi, and then obviously the 3 comes after that. Like he's pretty 3 level scorer, and he is like not driving like that. Like, you'd think, and this game he tried a little bit more, but it wasn't it wasn't aggressive enough for me. If I'm a Minnesota fan, I'm just like, dude, like what happened? Are you tired again? Like, and come on.
Nobody, Reggie Miller. I think Ant's tired. Shut up,
like,
man.
Are you a superstar? Like, you're the superstar. I mean, forget face of the league and all that stuff, but like you're a superstar of the Minnesota Timberwolves alongside Karl Anthony Towns. This playoffs he's been great. Those guys are cooking, and with the swagger and confidence you usually have, where'd it go? He's just quiet. He's just chilling. Like Mike Connolly, he deferred. Like it's not bad deferring, but like Mike Connolly is keeping you guys afloat. Naz Reid's hitting crazy threes. Like he might be getting drug tested as we speak. Like for going on that heater. So like those are my quick fire notes. I think that I had of like my analysis of the first 2 games. But yeah, like go for it. Like what about you?
So I'll start with Dallas. So, you mentioned Luka and Kyrie and them. The X factor, I think, in my opinion, the X factor for this series is Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively.
Yeah.
I just got to say this point before I get into it. Chet and Wemby really took away, really like overshadowed Lively, because right now we're watching another rookie center in the conference finals making insane impact. Like, you know, you were talking about Ant. Why is it Ant driving? Or I'm always screaming about rim pressure. Get to the rim. Get to the rim.
Yep.
It's because Dallas can continuously rotate 7-footers at all times. They average the most lobs per game. I mentioned this before. All they do is lob. All they do is dunk the ball. All they do is attack the paint. Because with a passer, with such an insane passer like Luka, even Kyrie was making crazy lobs. And then these guys are rim runners. Like they even if the ball won't go to them, they're players that like they're in their head. After they set that screen, they're rushing the rim. They're going there no matter what, if the ball comes or doesn't come. And that you kind of need that, because it's like that it's the irrational confidence of, I'm gonna dunk the ball, but you might not even get the ball, but that throws the whole defense into whack. And then on the flip side, what's it called? Cat, Ant, Jaden, Rudy, Conley, Nas, Kyle Anderson, all of them, they can't get into the paint.
Not at all.
I remember I mentioned this earlier in the series. I mentioned this in our preview of the series. I said, this is a battle of similar styles.
Yep.
And then I texted you this morning. I said, I'm so curious to see how, what's it called? Coach Finch is going to, attack the Lively and Gafford problem that they're having. Because they only have 1-7 foot. They only have Rudy, and Rudy, if you want to get into that, Rudy, his defense, I don't think there's really a problem with Rudy's defense. Even with that last shot, like Rudy can't guard Luka. Like he's not going to be able. He's not going to be able to guard him in the perimeter. That's just a crazy shot by Luka. Just a side note. Luka only took one shot on the fourth, and it was the game winner.
And it was the game winner. Yeah, and that's the thing. I know that was gonna come back to haunt him if they lost this game. Like everyone's gonna be like, Luka just didn't shoot. How are you gonna win? Right? Like we can blame Kyrie's missed free
step
throws.
back as your only shot in 12 minutes is like such an insane take. It's crazy.
And now that's an iconic moment in your career. Like
how many iconic moments does he have? So many. Like he's 6 years in, has so many iconic moments.
Right.
Okay, let me get to the Timberwolves real quick. So if we really want to go to the crux of the problem, there's really only one person that we look at, because everybody else is actually hooping. Like even last game, Jaden McDaniel had a crazy game.
Yep.
It's Edwards, man. Where'd you go, bro? The reincarnation of MJ, the next Dwayne Wade. He disappeared. He's legit vanished. At the end of the game, right there, he costed them like 4 straight possessions. I think he had 2 turnovers, one terrible shot, and then he got another he got a bucket somewhere in there. He's averaging 20 points per game right now. Let me pull up the stats right here. His stats right now: 20 points per game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 36 from the 3-point line. And he's shooting. What is this? The field goal percentage is 33%. 33%. And I know that, look, Gafford and Lively and, what's his name? Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington, look, they have the length to guard him. But I kind of feel like when we get to these kind of situations, the closer we get to the finals, the more it matters about your star player stepping up. And I think this goes to show you that, like, stop comparing people to 77. He's uncomparable. He could be chasing Ghost right now, but he's not. He's with Giannis and he's with Giannis and Jokic.
Just formidable.
But that's it. Yeah. Those three are in a tier of their own. Yeah. And then you got Shea and Tatum after that. But those three are in the tier of their own. Just stop comparing these guys to him. And it's no shade to Ant, but Luka's been doing this. Luka is war torn. He's not even war ready. This guy's been to like 17 tours already. He played the Clippers when they were like at their best, like twice, lost both times.
Yep.
He didn't, but his numbers were insane then. He played the Warriors, lost to them. He played the Suns, beat them. He played the Jazz, he beat them. Like he's went through so many wars. This is nothing new to him. This is nothing new to him. This is something new to the Wolves. The Wolves haven't been here before. None of them. They don't even Mike Conley, their leader of their team, he's never been here before. And I feel like that plays into such a factor of just that poise you got to keep, like people keep saying Ant's tired, this, that, whatever. If you look at what Kyrie did today, Kyrie didn't have a good game at all, like you mentioned. Kyrie had actually a terrible game going through the most of the game. He finished with 20 points, 7 for 16. but Kyrie has, it's the same thing that Luka has. These guys are war ready. You know,
Yep.
they're just, they know how to keep an even keel. They know how to, you know, pick their spots. Even if they're playing bad, they're gonna find their right shots and they're gonna get hot. They're not, these guys aren't guardable. They're obviously gonna have bad plays and, you know, bad stretches, this, that, whatever. Luka didn't have the best first half in this game either. But look, these guys know what they need to do. They know, they've been here before, and I think that's the biggest difference. Because in my opinion, I said the Wolves are going to win, but I also said to you that in this weird inkling in the back of my head where it's like, I just feel like the Mavs just have this sort of edge over them, and I feel like Luka and Kyrie are kind of passing this off to everybody else. PJ Washington's, Jerry Jones Jr.'s, Daniel Gafford, and Lively. They look insane out there, and we got to give a shout out. Josh Green, he low-key had such a fire game.
Oh,
team high plus 15. He closed the game tonight. So like
the steal on Ant,
like he had such a great game.
No, yeah, and like the Green, he usually is like, you know, like he's kind of like the butt of the joke. Like
he's the eighth man, you know,
like, and he's not always like hitting the three, but like even shout out to like Hardy too. Like he hit some clutch moments. Like at the beginning, it was kind of shaky, but then
Hardy was like 1 for 5 in the beginning. I was gonna like fly over there and beat his ass.
And then later on, he started driving. He got that confidence. Luka trusted him, and it's like, oh, okay. So you know they came to play. The boys came to play, right?
Also, another thing is Luka. Oh, he finished with a triple double. Okay,
yeah,
Luka. I was like, his dimes today
insane.
We're out of this world. You know, after Kyrie missed those 2 free throws, this goes right back to my point about poise and being here before. After Kyrie missed those 2 free throws, they get the ball back, and it's 106, 109, 103, 108.
Yeah.
They get to the paint. It's a mix-up happens. Just like 3 seconds on the clock, Luka's getting double teamed. I'm watching my friend. We're like, dude, Luka has to get this off. Luka does a pump fake. Then underneath the armpit, dimes Kyrie into the corner, and wide open 3, splashes it. 106, 108.
Yeah.
And then what do the Wolves do? They come down, Jaden McDaniels turnover. Now people are gonna cry about that was a foul, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching the game, how it was officiated, Anthony Edwards was slapping the shit out of everybody. I'm not even kidding you.
Where he locked down Kyrie. Like, dude, Kyrie's like,
he slapped him 4 times. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, he was trying to harm him, bro. It was not even. It's not even a.
No,
like,
both ways.
Flagrant, bro.
They they swallowed
their physicality. Yeah,
all that.
And
stuff.
I know the rule. I know the rule and stuff. That turnover, they come back down. They get a lob tie game.
Yeah,
I think that's what. No, they get a lob. They're down 1.
Yeah,
and then Kyrie hits a shot, and then Luka hits a shot, and bada bing, bada boom, whatever.
Game. Yeah. So,
like, I just find that so impressive, and I think that's just the biggest point of this thing, where it's like, I'm not sure that the Wolves can, you know, like, can they? I know they played against the Nuggets, and Nuggets are obviously this almighty team, but here's my point. I don't think the Nuggets are that good. That's the problem, and they're built to beat the Nuggets. They're like the hard counter to the Nuggets.
Tim Connolly, you know,
they're literally playing the same team as them. Physical, vertical athletes, and then the difference is that Luka is Jokic, but smaller. He's a guard Jokic. You're playing against guard Jokic
same
with
IQ.
An insane shot making ability.
Yeah,
Jokic don't have that.
Jokic doesn't have that shot making ability that Luka Doncic has.
No.
Neither does Giannis. That's like your big 3 right there, right? So, and Luka just has those guard skills, but he's a forward. But he's just all around awesome good player. Like, what are you gonna do?
So I don't know. The challenge is on Ant, really. Like, are you gonna wake up? Are you a man or a mouse? Show us.
Right.
Like, that's the real question. Because I'm not gonna fault anybody else here. Rudy Gobert had 16 points. Rudy Gobert's the only player on the starting lineup that's a plus in the plus minus, by the way.
Yeah, plus
like
1.
You know, I will say Rudy Gobert's offensive bag is so bad, but whatever. And my last point, that last shot, when I was watching the game, the first thing we say when we see that shot go up is not even the shot, the switch. We go, why the hell is Gobert on the court if you're gonna switch
everything?
If your game plan is to switch all, what do you think Luka's gonna do? What do you think Jason Kidd's gonna do? Go find the tall guy who can't move in the perimeter and go cook him.
Mm-hmm.
And Rudy Gobert said, "Look, I'm not gonna give you the drive to the paint."
Yeah.
So Luka's like, "Okay, I'm gonna freaking take this step back and splash in your face."
Yeah.
Insane confidence,
They were
insane
just
shot
they
making
dared
ability,
each
just like
other,
crazy.
in that situation. They dared each other. Better
Yeah.
offense, one out. To me, also, it's just like you already actually pointed it out. It's like if my role players and starters are going crazy, like I can't ask more from Mike Conley. I can't ask for more from Rudy and Nas. If Nas is having a thing, like as the best player on the team, we can't waste this game. That's just how mentally I'm gonna think about it. So, and it's it's up to you to think, but look, man, it's like you guys did this to the Nuggets. It was, you stole 2 at home, and you saw how hard it is. Even if it goes 7, it's like at the end of the day, you're up 2. You could be up 3. So my thing is, I feel like Dallas, just as a team, is so solid. That's why I keep picking them in every series. They're just kind of very locked in. They're so well coached. They're like, if Lively wasn't playing as hard as he is, and Gafford, like both of them, it's like 1A, 1B for
bro.
those 2 guys.
Insane
Like
how they're playing, man.
we may not be as talented as you. We may not have like the post game as Karl Anthony Towns and the shooting of Karl Anthony Towns and the defense of Rudy Gobert or the whatever Chet Holmgren and all that. But you are not out hustling me. Like I think that's a very relatable thing for the common man.
Insane.
And it's you see it on the floor. And it's like Luka and Kyrie are giving it all, and so will we. And so is Derek Jones Jr. and PJ Washington are in for the ride. And that's the thing. A lot of people, it's like trade for Gafford. Like what he's gonna play bench minutes. Like no, but like it's like it's up to the team and the coaching staff to make those pieces work. That's why this is so like cool to see. Like shout out to the organization for.
Well, it's funny because Minnesota's entire advantage this season and in the playoffs so far was size. We have athletic and physical advantage over you. Like we're just way bigger and stronger and faster, and we can jump higher. And then they play against the Mavs, who okay, Luka's not super athlete, so and Kyrie's a guard. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Derek Jones Jr., Derek Lively, PJ Washington, Gafford, and what's the other kid's name? Josh Green.
Yeah.
These guys can jump with you. There was a play where I think Derek Jones Jr. just like jumped 60 feet in the sky to get a rebound. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
he just flew for no reason. But that's how it's like we believe, like like we're all in here. Like we're just so locked in. And it's like it's oozing out of Luka and Kyrie, where the amount of confidence they're imbuing into these guys, it's insane. I will ask you though, like because I will say Minnesota's a really good road team, but what do you think? Like, you think this is gonna end in a sweep, or do you think Minnesota can take one?
So I think in prediction wise, I said 6 or like, but it's like 6 or 5, like the same way with the OKC stuff that I was saying, right? Like I should stick to one, but after these 2, like Dallas is kind of just they're moving like they've been to finals before. Like I'm not gonna lie, and it could be just
series. Doesn't this series kind of remind you of last year's Western Conference Finals, where like the Wolves? I mean, where the Lakers are like in the game. In the lead, and then we get to clutch situations, and then they lose. So 4 straight games.
It's funny because you said that because our other brother and I had a conversation today. Shout out Ulesh. I guess streaming now on as Astro on Twitch. Give him a follow or a watch. We literally talked about we said the exact same thing. Because I think he brought it up, and I'm just like, we're like, it's a close sweep. Like you're gonna look at the point differential, it's like 26 after 4 games or 5 games.
Well, the point differential right now is 4
after this game. So I thought like, oh, okay, good win, but there's a long series to go, like any series. After this one, and the way like I don't know,
19 points
and head, right? Like their superstar looks a little shell shocked here. I'm not gonna lie, and the player Luka is. Like the player, the leader, I think Luka is showing. I think he's not getting a lot of credit for it because a lot of people talk about his body language, his whiningness, and all that stuff. All that combined, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think this is gonna come back to Minnesota. Like it sounds ballsy to say, but and also the game series doesn't start till the road team wins. Well, the road team won twice, so nobody tell me that either. So it could be blatant confidence. Maybe a little biased because like we watched the Dallas Mavericks this year a lot. Like that's the thing. Like when they're in those situations, when the switch happens on Luka, you're just like, oh, this is it. It feels like, LeBron, the Kobe's, it
Mm-hmm.
feels like, oh, we got this. Like the shot goes up. In a way, it's like, you give Messi the ball and get out of the way, like prime Messi. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like game-changing moment, like game-breaking moment. So, yeah, to answer your question, I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling like 70-30, like it's a
On a
sweep.
sweep?
It's
Sheesh.
whack. It's weird, and trust me, I
I
understand the
don't know.
words
I
that are
can't. I
coming
don't
out
think
of
it
my
would be
mouth,
a sweep.
but I
But
think,
it's
like,
so. I feel
but
like
is it
this
going
series
past
is.
5? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that's
I
why it's
think
like it's crazy for a
I.
sweep, but 5, I think, like,
I'll give the Wolves. I'm gonna give the Wolves. I
yeah,
think the Wolves, dude. It's so hard to predict this because they were just up 19 today.
right, yeah,
Like I don't know if I can even give them next game.
yeah, and
Like
you're in
like what if
Dallas,
their like confidence is insanely shot? And playing in Dallas is not no easy feat, bro. That crowd is insane.
yeah, and I think
Okay, but I think
you would probably say something like, you expect Jones Jr. and PJ Washington and the rookie Lively not to be this good on the road against
dude,
Minnesota's defense, right? Like I think you
dude,
were kind of saying stuff like that, like, and it makes sense because on the road, role players are not going to
it
perform. You
shouldn't.
have a freaking rookie out there, so if they play like this in Minnesota, what are they going to play like in Dallas with the fans behind them?
Dude, your centers are giving you 30 points, bro. No threes. Their centers are
Two
giving them
traditional
30
centers,
points.
like,
No threes.
yeah,
Against the best defense in the league, the best interior defense,
yeah, yeah.
interior protection in the league. Last point on this series before I move on from me
I had one more thing, but
is
go on, finish yours.
is you guys, the media, everybody else, and you guys don't give any credit to what Luka's doing. And it's the same thing that's going on in the other series, which we'll get to.
Yeah, yeah,
It's these guys have too much success early in their career, but they didn't win the ring. So now you guys try to write them off. And this is not fair. And I'm not just talking about the offensive end. We watched that game 1. Luka was insane playing defense. Insane. I think people who are gutted about him are shooting like less than 40% right now, by the way.
yeah.
Insane defense, insane rebounding. Nobody's giving the credit. He literally is limping every time down the floor.
Yeah.
And this is the difference between 2021 Luka and 2024 Luka is look at the amount of effort he's putting in for every other thing other than the offensive end. Everything, the rebounding, the passing, the defense. He's watching on the ring lanes. He's putting his body on the line for defense.
Switching,
you know what I mean? Like
stuff,
that. Nobody's trying to give him credit for that stuff. But they're gonna. I don't want to take a shot, but it's like it's not a shot at the media. But on the flip side, they'll be like, "Yo, Ant's tired. Oh my god, he played so much defense, and that's why he can't score." Blah blah blah. Luka has a bad shooting night, but he's playing insane defense. Oh, dude, why he's freaking inefficient? Jenny McDonald's guarding him, locking him up. Like, come on, guys. You guys got to be fair in what you guys talking about. And just because these guys are good so early in their careers, that don't mean they're not going to be good anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Your new boys just got here. These guys been here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if these guys are always in the playoffs, if these guys are always, making it far in the playoffs, always showing, going off in the playoffs, but they don't get to the ring, that doesn't mean they're ass. That you don't get discredited for that.
Yeah.
You can't just prop up somebody else who's never been where they've been.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Trae Young. You can't discredit Trae Young did this. He went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know what I mean?
Led them.
Like
they beat the Sixers and them. All of them.
Just Ant's had a great playoff run. Great playoff run. I'm not saying he's had a terrible. I'm not none of that. Great playoff run. But I'm just saying, before we anoint people, just Kenny Smith said, "Oh, the winner of the series is going to be the face of the league." Bro, you guys will never give Luka the face of the league. You'll never do it. You'll never do it. You said that because if the Wolves win, then Ant's going to.
That's what you want to do.
Not because if the Mavs win, then Luka's the face of the league. No, you won't give it to him. Luka should already be the face of the league.
Yeah, if you want to go.
If you really want to do that, you should be the face of the league.
Yeah,
but you're not going to give him that credit. So these guys, people got to start being genuine on how they talk about these players.
Yeah. So, back to the question about the sweep. I'm not backtracking on the whole 4 or 5 games thing, but the one thing I would say for so Luka went. I think he went to the locker room twice. So I was gonna be like, before recording this episode, while watching the game, I was like, if they lose the game, they lose the game. But like, because they're down 20 almost. But if that injury is as serious as it seems, because sometimes he's like, he's just laboring back up and laboring back down. It's just, he's finishing games and he's making clutch plays, so it's covering up. But we know that Luka's not like 100%, but he's still being so effective. That's how good he is. And basically, to your point, so I would have been like, that is the reason they lose, because right now, one-legged Luka or whatever is better than the other team's best player right now. So that's like one of the reasons. But they took 2 games, so now it's like maybe in the finals it'll flare up.
Is Ant even like a top 5 player in this series right now?
In this series, yeah. Like it's been 2 games, but like you would think, yeah. And he's I think the guy to go band for band, right?
I think that like the top 5 players is 4 Mavs and 1 Wolf. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and my thing also is during the adjustment that I feel like I would have made, again, not a coach or anything, but when Rudy got that 5th foul or something on Derrick Jones Jr. at the end of the 3rd, and they're like, they're gonna take him out to save him later anyways, and then they bring like Nas in. I'm like, maybe they go like kind of like 5 out, switch all, or not 5, 5 out, switch all, like just shooters, like kind of like the Celtics, just shooters, and let Ant drive and kick or drive and score, because Nas is so hot too from the 3-point line, but they never really went there, because I'm just like,
well, he kept playing slow-mo. He kept playing Kyle Anderson. And I'm like, okay, why aren't you playing Cat? I was so confused. Why won't he play Cat? I have no idea. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow.
We'll find out about Cat probably.
Or maybe on Twitter they already said why not. But like, I'm so confused on why they're not playing Cat. And I know you can't play the Cat Nas lineup, because I think Luka will just fry that, because there might be too big. You know what I mean? Like too big. But it's like you're playing Rudy Nas lineups. You know what I mean? Like, play the Cat Nas lineup. Why can't you play it? I'm confused.
If you just, stretch it out and you have like just the shooters, you at least offensively, you're going to go, pound for pound or like shot for shot. Maybe. I don't know. But like, because whatever it is, it's not working, and it didn't work again. And you let Dallas, get this confidence going back to Dallas. So, so that's the series for the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. And I'm sure we could say a lot more, but that's like pretty much the gist of this series so far. Going to the Eastern Conference, where we have Indiana Pacers versus Boston Celtics. The Celtics are up 2-0 right now. Kind of like how we're kind of predicting it, but I'll let you take the floor. Your boy Tatum.
Okay.
There's a lot there, but yeah.
Are we surprised? No, we're not surprised. This is part of the course of the Celtics. When we get to the when we get closer to the finals, I'll probably mention on Twitter that like, look, I've been saying it all year, but like, I don't see anybody beating this team. Porzingis is not even playing, by the way. But there's really not much to talk about in the game, other than the fact that Rick Carlisle is a quitter. You quitter, bro. You're a quitter. You benched your team with 4 minutes left in the game or 6 minutes left in the game. Like, what are you doing, 15, bro? It's the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. What are you saving your team for? You're gonna want to go down 0-2 to the best team in the league. Wow. I don't get what he's doing. Secondly, I gotta give my props. Okay, I've been talking a lot of shit. We did a whole clip about him. Jrue Holiday. He is been hooping, man. And it hurts me, like deeply inside hurts me to say that he's been hooping, but he has been hooping. Not just this series. He's averaging 21, 9, and 5 this series on 60% from 3 and 70% from the field. But generally in this playoffs, and I think I got to give some credit. My screen just went dark because I went to Twitter, but because I noticed this stat the other day. So in 2021, Jrue Holiday time of possession stats, 6 minutes. So he's 12th in the playoffs. In 2022, 7 minutes per game. That's how much he held the ball. 6th in the playoffs. 2023, 7 minutes again, 11th in the playoffs. This season, 3.2 minutes per game. That's 40th in the playoffs. Jrue Holiday is not a point guard, like a ball dominant playmaking, set the team up point guard. Mm-hmm. That's what Derek White's doing on the team. Peyton Pritchard's even doing on the team. But Jrue Holiday, he doesn't need his hands off the ball. he's doing his catch and shoots, his little middies, his crash into the paint,
Yeah,
and
rebound, put
and he
back.
can focus all of his efforts on defense. He doesn't need to set any offense and let the other guys do setting the offense part, and it's working out so well for him. So, Joe, like, that's a great game plan. I mean, great player knowledge by Joe right there, like knowing how to play the players. And the second thing, the big elephant in the room, everyone keeps talking about it. So I'm gonna go on a little rant here. You guys are so disingenuous by the way you guys talk about Tatum. Every other player in the league, every single team that has two superstars, like two really good players on the team, we just watched Kyrie in game 1. We watched the entire Wolves team in game 7. We watched, AD have big games with Braun there.
Jamal.
We watched Jamal Murray average 28 a game to the finals. This guy, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown has a good game. Oh, Jason Tatum, you suck. Jaylen Brown's better than you. Stop. You guys are just picking and choosing who you guys like and don't like. Jason Tatum has the most 40 balls since he's been drafted in the playoffs. Jason Tatum has a 50 ball in the playoffs. There's only 8 players that have a 50 ball in the playoffs. Jason Tatum has the most wins in the playoffs since he's got here. He's played the Bucks 3 times, I think. He's played the KD Nets twice. He played Curry. He's played
Braun.
Braun. I think he's played 9 MVPs in his 7 seasons since he's been in the league.
The Heat.
This is nothing to him, guys. Like, you're acting like he's new to this. He's not new to this. He's him and Luka, same thing. These guys live in the playoffs. That's all they do. They have their crazy, insane games in the playoffs. We've seen him drop. We've seen that game 6 against the Bucks before. This Indiana Pacers team is just not good enough for, like, this. They're just not good enough. And his stats, he's still averaging 29 points per game in this series. He had 36, 12, and 4 the first game on insane efficiency. And not a peep from anybody. Oh, that one turnover he had, Jaylen Brown had to bail him out. Like, come on, guys. Be genuine in the way we're talking. It's a team sport. People are going to play good. Jaylen Brown said all NBA player in my books got snubbed.
He should have.
Yeah. He got snubbed. So, like, what? Jaylen Brown's going to go off. Jaylen Brown's going to go off. That's what they want. That's what the Celtics want.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It.
For me, you talked about Rick Carlisle's whole thing. It is weird because at the end of the day, like, as good as the Celtics are, they can lose a game. Like, they might be the better team, but they're not, like, I always refer to the KD Warriors, right? Like, those, they're like inevitable. Like, it's an all-star freaking team. Like, you can't do anything about that. But every other team, it's like, even the Lakers against the Nuggets, I don't think they should have got swept last year. They did. But every team, there's as good as they are, every series is like, it's a winnable game. It's not a winnable series, but it's a winnable game. So for me,
especially
it's like
in today's NBA.
Yeah, like, so if Haliburton is cooked, that's the thing. Like, he left the game yesterday. So that's when I felt like the game was over before Rick Carlisle did his thing. But it was kind of like, but if his hamstring is like gone and they're just gonna, shut him down, we don't know yet. But that's the thing. I feel bad, really bad. Like, shout out to Pascal Siakam. Spicy P, man. He's hooping. Like, I always knew and this is not an insult to him. It's number 2 on a championship run, like a number 2, number 3 player. You'll win a ring with him. Like,
we saw it.
We saw the Raptors do it. Kawhi Leonard was the best player, and he was right. And they had, historical numbers together as a duo. Like, as funny as it seems, like, people are gonna forget about that duo in like years to come. But that happened. And Siakam,
I think it was the game 1
against the Warriors.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up.
But yeah, do it. But I just want to give him his props. Like, 1-on-1, he just knows his shots. He just gets to his spots. Like, he's amazing as that second option type of guy. Like, I wouldn't have him as the number 1 option. And I think that's fair to say. But he is so valuable and he's hooping. And
game 1 of the NBA Finals in 2019, 32 points, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, 14 of 17 shooting. Only took 2 free throws. Of the NBA Finals, by the way. Kawhi only had 23 points.
Those are two numbers.
this is my thing with these guys do these things and then people just forget about it.
Yeah.
In the biggest stages. You know what I mean?
Like he deserves like to be on championship contending teams. I hope he gets his bag, but like
I like that Pacer team though.
But this team, it's solid. It's just they just need to grow and and healthy. They need health and they could be they're solid. They're a solid team, but like I think they're just outmatched by the Celtics. Like you said it all. Like everyone, it's just the reason why they look so sick is because everybody's just so locked in, just like how the Nuggets were too, like last year especially. Like, bro, it's like you think you game plan for Tatum and Brown or Jokic and Murray, but then those other guys can come along for the ride and just hit a three. It's like every time Pacers would just run it back. Like Speedy Gonzalez, that's their game plan. Like every time Celtics score, like before the camera cuts, like sprinting. Someone's already at that, like catching a pass and like laying it up or dunking it. But every time they would do that to come back into the game, like Celtics, boom, switch. If you try to trap Tatum, it's a three. It's always gonna be a three, and it's a freaking bomb. Like it's a dagger to your heart, and it's like, oh, okay, we're back up 9. We're back.
It's funny 10. About that. Funny about that game last night with the Pacers game. Every time the Pacers made a little run, I think they ended half on a run and they were down 6. And then in the beginning of the third quarter, the Pacers didn't score a point for the first 7 minutes of the quarter. The funniest thing about the Celtics is they do this thing where I've been saying it, where it's like they just don't care sometimes. It just feels like the team is like, it's an arrogance maybe to them, but they just don't give. They don't give. Like, they sometimes they're just like, you know what? Man, I don't really care about playing y'all. Like, I'm gonna go to the finals regardless. But and then they're like, "Oh shit, you guys are making a comeback. Okay, let me just lock in for a little bit." And then boom, the balloons to 15-point lead again. For the Pacers itself, I'll say I think the biggest thing is I think Tyrese, 22 and a half a game, hit that 25 threshold for me, buddy. And then we'll see where we're going. 25 and 10. Can you do it? Can you replicate Trae Young's number with your skills? I think you can. We just gotta show it.
Yeah.
But,
no, that series is that's what it is. What it is. So it's up 2-0. Both series are up 2-0. I think we're going at a collision course personally to the Celtics and Mavericks finals. Luka versus
the true faces of the league.
The two faces. And just quickly on that note, I know when you're talking about Luka in that sense, and like obviously Tatum gets unfairly criticized. Like it's one thing for like Twitter and like rival fans to talk smack. Obviously, we're all gonna banter.
Yeah, Twitter's gonna Twitter.
But it's like it's kind of weird when it's like someone who's not as deserving yet. Like it's your first time here. Like, but like there's been guys doing it already. Like, and look, I know you don't want to give Jokic maybe that title because it's like. As good as he is, he doesn't have that gameplay, that style of play, and like the care, perhaps. And Giannis too, it's a lot of the whole running and dunking like persona that everybody classes him as. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just so you're gonna look at the next guys. I get that. I mean, to be honest, it's a little unfair because they're that good. They're still amazing players. They're the best players, I think.
Big man renaissance.
So then you want to guard. You want you're a prototypical 6'6", 6'8" guard, and it's like, well, you have like I know he's like 6'9", 6'10", like Jason Tatum, who's having all this success, but you want to say his team is that good, so it's not all him. Cool. Then you have Luka carrying this Mavs organization. I mean, when the Kyrie trade happened, even myself, I was like, I don't know if this is the one. If at one thing, it's like Luka spends so much energy on offense, and he's not like two-way like that as we're seeing in this play. So Kyrie, who's like a smaller version of Luka, like in that way, like cerebral assassin, but like he's not, is he that much of an upside? It's like Luka's been doing his thing, like he's been doing it, going up against Goliaths, by the way, like
he hasn't. I don't think he hasn't played a non-Hall of Famer ever in his career.
He's only been favored. His team has only been favored in a series once, and it was that Utah Jazz series. So every other series, including the one right now where they're up 2-0, his team has never been the favorite. So, these are signs telling you something. I don't know. And like you wanted to give it to Ja, like shout out Ja. He's amazing. You want to give it to Ant. It's just like, it's like it feels a little disingenuous, a little like sometimes. Where it's
like they're right in front of your face.
They're right
Like
there,
these
and the
guys are
skill
right
level
there.
is there.
They're
Like
right
everything
there.
is there. Like so,
They're off.
it's
They
just
average 30. Like it's nothing. They
like
they never shy away. They never shrink in big games.
yeah,
They
like
lose. They
yeah,
lose. Everybody loses, but they never shrink. It's not their fault they lose. I'm not saying that
yeah.
it's obviously their
It's
fault,
subjective,
but
but I mean objective,
it's
yeah,
like they don't shrink. They're showing out. They leaving everything out there, even when they lose, even when they win.
yeah, right.
And you guys just pick and choose who you guys want to. You guys just fall in love with somebody, get an infatuation. It's weird. I don't know what it is with
Yeah.
the media, but these guys just. It's just not
it's
fair.
interesting. I guess we're in a transition period from the LeBron era, from the Curry, KD, Harden. All these guys are finally, we're seeing all the TikToks of, it's sad that with the "Over My Dead Body," shout out Drake playing in the background of the instrumental. But it's like you have exciting young stars, but it's keep the same energy. I guess I don't know. But yeah, so like that's unless you have anything else to say about that. Like that's our update so far on the conference finals. It's hopefully we're gonna be back like for the following for the ending of this round and start of the finals, and we'll get to that. We'll get talking on that as well. And yeah, do you have anything to end up? Like I can end it, but do you have any
I will say this.
words?
We're probably back because we're gonna go on vacation. So we'll be back for the beginning, like the finals already start. But we'll probably have some pods pre-recorded or anything like that, maybe to drop for y'all.
Try our best to do that.
Shoot a follow, subscribe.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching again. It's a short episode today, but we just wanted to get this out because quick update on the series 2-0, both sides. We're nearing the finals. We're this close to the biggest moment of basketball in the season. And that's all. Yeah. Thanks again for watching, everybody.
Please comment and leave a like if you like this episode. And hit that subscribe button. We'll be back on the Ridgeway Pod. Peace.
Peace.